My name is Stephen N.T. and the details now. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has reiterated the need for continued support from African leaders as well as the international community to fight the Ebola disease. Speaking at the Flagstaff House in Accra during a meeting with President Mahama, the UN boss commended Ghana for the role it has played so far in fighting the spread of the disease and called for more support for health systems in affected countries. Gifty Ando Appiah has more.
The UN Secretary-General and his entourage, made up of heads of the various UN missions, are on a mission to visit the three countries badly hit by the Ebola virus. Ban Ki-moon is also expected to visit Mali, which has also recorded some 5 cases with 5 confirmed deaths. The detour through Ghana is largely due to the location of the UN's Ebola emergency mission in Accra.
I know that you sometimes had to take considerable risk in agreeing to host the Windmere headquarters in Ghana. Thanks to Ghana, Windmere has benefited from a well-suited, situated headquarters and ability to deploy quickly into the affected countries.
Ban Ki-moon said the health systems in the affected countries needed to be restored while urging other countries to take the necessary precautionary measures. The Director General of the World Health Organization, Margaret Chan, has however said the WHO is ready to provide technical support to countries such as Ghana, which have not been affected by the Ebola virus, to help their prevention efforts.
We are also equally, if not more, mindful of countries that have not yet been affected. Like in the case of Ghana, that we would support you to make sure you are prepared in the event, unfortunate event as we see in Mali, with movement of people, importation of cases is something we should not be taken by surprise.
President Mahama said ECOWAS has consistently discussed ways of curbing the stigma that comes with the disease.
We're not out of the woods yet. We held an ECOWAS summit where we did an appraisal. We got reports from all the organizations involved in the UN response and also from the countries themselves in respect of what the situation there was. We've also just come from another ECOWAS summit in Abuja, and Ebola was one of the items on the agenda.
He commended the UN mission on Ebola emergency response and asked them to continue to support efforts to improve public health even after the epidemic has been dealt with. Gifty Ando Appiah's report for Joy News.
Right, let's cross over now to Kumasi to join my colleague Emmanuel Ante, who is with the Joy News team covering the NDC National Delegates Congress, which is expecting to start tomorrow. Emmanuel Ante, good evening. I'm talking to you again. Right, we have lost Emmanuel Ante, and if you've just joined us, this is the primetime news on Joy News here on Multi TV. We're also live on ABN across Europe, in London and across Europe. Tomorrow is the NDC National Delegates Congress, which is taking place in Kumasi, and reports indicate that all executives, delegates and aspirants have swamped the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, in readiness for tomorrow's Congress. We're trying to get to Kumasi now and speak to our reporters on the ground. Emmanuel Ante, we're expecting to get him on the line to speak on the issue now. Emmanuel Ante is joining us. Emmanuel, good evening.
Good evening, Steve.
It must have been a long day now. Tell me what's happening in Kumasi a few hours to the D-Day tomorrow.
Well, I can tell you the atmosphere is very much charged. Now, most of the supporters of the candidates have arrived, and they are all singing around the stadium. But the stadium has been closed down for security reasons, awaiting tomorrow's event. So the place, the Kumasi now, especially around the stadium area, is very much charged. And the place is painted with the NDC colors, I can tell you. Coming from all the way up from the streets, when you start coming from the streets, from the tech area coming, you see the NDC paraphernalia and posters and signage and all that. It's all painted NDC colors, so that's what is happening.
Now, what about security arrangement on the ground? On an important day like tomorrow, there must be heavy security presence, especially from police and the army. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, you're right, Steve, and it's to be expected anyway. Security is beefing up just by the minute. As we speak now, both the military, the police, and the other security agencies have surrounded the stadium and are protecting the area, not just the stadium. And there are police patrol teams that are going round with their cars and all that, trying to make sure there is order and peace and secured area for the event. So security is beefing up, and considering the fact that the President of the Republic of Ghana is going to make his way to the stadium tomorrow, you expect security to be tight, and that is what it is, Steve.
Right, Emmanuel Ante, we're grateful for that snap update. Emmanuel Ante is a Joe News correspondent who is reporting to us there from Kumasi. The event will be taking place at the Babayara Sports Stadium. And Emmanuel earlier spoke to Alhaji Abdullahi Farrakhan, who is contesting for the position of Deputy General Secretary. Let's hear.
Down for Sheikh Abdullah Farrakhan. It's a down deal 60% or more.
Wow. You're contesting Asiedin Keita, who's been in the helm of affairs for the past two elections. You think you have the strength and the willpower to oust him out of office?
Oh, yeah, Master. Even I know all of you were surprised. For somebody like Farrakhan from nowhere just coming into the scene, people were saying, hey, can this be joking or what? But I've proved people wrong. If you go to a point, even when I went through vetting, people were saying I didn't file. So I was just laughing. People don't know what they are saying. Farrakhan is that type. I'm telling you, my brother, I've gone around almost all the 10 regions where response are very, very positive. Master, the grassroots are tired of the party. They are tired of the current executives. They need a change.
So you believe that you're going to overtake Asiedin Keita?
Oh, yes, inshallah. I believe in this one God. Inshallah, come tomorrow you call me and congratulate me. Inshallah, yes, please.
All right, so you are sure of victory?
Yes, victory come tomorrow. Sheikh Abdullah will be the new General Secretary for NDC.
Where you heard it from the one and only man who is contesting the General Mosquito himself, Asiedin Keita.
I'm spraying Musoso mosquito tomorrow, Sasso. God willingly. We are bringing Sasso to, but we'll not kill him dead. We'll not spray him dead. We'll just...
Right, still on the NDC, delegates from the Brunahafo region have unanimously endorsed National Treasurer hopeful Abdallah Ahmed Abdallah. The endorsement was made at a final round of preparations and meetings with delegates towards the National Congress in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. Correspondent Kafui Ajuma reports.
The Brongahafo regional delegates describe Abdullah Ahmed Abdallah as the man for the grassroots people. They say the one-time Brongahafo regional chairman of the NDC, Abdullah Ahmed Abdallah, also known as Alhaji PMC, has always proved to be concerned for the development of the party's structures, even though he was not a national executive member. Addressing the delegates from Brongahafo region, Abdullah Ahmed Abdallah stressed it was time for the NDC to get dedicated people interested in party building. He further argued that he has been doing a lot for the NDC and Ghana over the years on the quiet, even though he is not a member of the national executive. Alhaji PMC added that he is better positioned to keep the key of the ruling National Democratic Congress, considering the immense experience he has had as a businessman and a contractor. A report by Nesta Kafui Ajoma.
Right, and here in the studio, my name is Stephen N.T. and let's get back onto the telephone line to speak to Emmanuel Ante again, who is still on the line anyway. So, Emmanuel, you spoke to some other aspirants in this context. What is the vibe you're picking from them? Emmanuel, can you hear me? Well, I think we're having challenges getting Emmanuel connecting on the line. We'll try to raise him back on. Emmanuel is in Kumasi with the Joy News team, which is covering the NDC's Delegate Congress, which is coming off tomorrow. And the situation on the ground is what he is giving us. Already told us about the security arrangements on the ground, and especially the fact that the President, John Dramani Mahama, will be making his way to the grounds tomorrow, and security arrangements are in place for that. Let's do some other stories whilst we try and raise Emmanuel back on the line. President John Dramani Mahama has inaugurated a new board for the Public Utility and Regulatory Commission with a charge to play an even more critical role in resolving the country's energy and power crisis. The board, which includes Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, is under the chairmanship of Emmanuel Anan. Giftiando Appear again has the following reports.
President Mahama asked the new PURC board to create an enabling environment and an even playing field that will attract private sector investment in the energy sector.
The only way that the private sector would invest their money in energy and power generation is if they feel that the playing field is conducive, that it is level and reasonable, and it guarantees them a fair return on the investment that they make.
The president said such an intervention is even more critical in view of what he describes as a new era following the decoupling of power from the energy ministry.
We're entering into a new era when it comes to the energy and power sector. First, we have disaggregated the two ministries, and so one is focusing purely on power production and distribution, and the other is focusing on the oil and gas sector.
The board was also admonished to introduce incentives for persons involved in solar power and other non-traditional forms of power generation, as well as intensify regulation of water supply to households. Chairman of the board, Engineer Emmanuel Anan, said having a substantial number of the previous board members back on the team will make for easy transition and effective execution of their responsibilities.
Ante is back on the line now. Emmanuel, thanks for joining us. Now, I was asking earlier what vibe you're picking from the other contestants you've interviewed. What vibe do you get from them?
Well, Steve, I can tell you that they are all hopeful of winning the election. Most of them are believing that even though they are being considered as underdogs, they are challenging and they are campaigning door to door. In their own terms, they are using the Atani style in the 2008 elections. They are moving from door to door. So even though people are not seeing them in airways campaigning and all that, they are doing the job underground. So they are all believing that they can win the election. So we wait for tomorrow to see what really transpires.
Right. Emmanuel, analysts have also been suggesting that there need to be an appropriate blend of both the old and the youthful contestants, so that together they will work to better the party's chances towards retaining power in 2016. What is the relationship between, I mean, I'm just asking you this question based on your observation. What do you see as the relationship between the old bloc and the kind of young people, the Hudu Yahayas on one side and the Koku Anyidahos on the other side? What is the relationship you're seeing between them as you observe?
Well, I can tell you that, let's say their supporters, most of their supporters, the young ones are calling for a revamp of those in office now. They believe that their youthful exuberance can win the party or can win the election for the party in the 2016 election. They believe that the old guys are now using old tactics and that now they are a bit slower, but the young ones can use their buga, that's their word, buga way to win power for the party. So they believe that the young ones, and that's the challenge between the old and the young. The old want to prove their worth, and the young who also want to have their way. So that's what's happening here.
Right. Emmanuel Ante, you better keep safe, and we're grateful that you could bring us that update from Kumasi. Yes.
One thing I think on the lighter side, I think one thing is that almost all the candidates have a song. They have made a song for themselves. And so I guess what we will do is probably after the elections, we'll see which one will make the chart, the music chart.
The music chart. I can imagine. I mean, because in a place like Kumasi, you need to break down your message so a lot more people can appreciate and grasp the message and make it simple, really. All right, Emmanuel, we're grateful for your time on the news, and we will still keep in touch with you and better keep safe. Thank you very much. Emmanuel Ante is our reporter there in Kumasi. Now, to other stories, President John Dramani Mahama has sworn in a new Power Minister, Dr. Kwabena Donkor. The new Power Minister promised to live up to expectation and ensure lasting solution to Ghana's energy crisis.
You serve the Republic of Ghana.
Well and truly serve the Republic of Ghana.
In the office of Minister.
In the office of Minister.
That I will uphold.
That I will uphold.
Preserve.
Protect.
And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So, I present you with the scroll of office. Congratulations. Congratulations again. I need not emphasize how critical the appointment is. Your sector is probably going to be the sector that all Ghanaians are going to be watching. And you shall be responsible for the success in overcoming dooms or the failure in not overcoming. Everybody is watching you.
I will put all that I have in me to this task. With your support, the Chief of Staff and other senior colleagues, I believe we can solve this problem within 6 months.
My name is Stephen Ante and you're watching the Primetime News Bulletin on Joy News. We're also live on ABN across London and Europe. We'll take a break right here and we'll be back. We have more news for you. Welcome back to the news now. Boko Municipal Chief Executive Bukari Isaku has called on all natives of the area to unite towards lasting peace. He says although the past year has seen relative peace and stability, everyone must get on board to make that peace last longer. He was speaking at a program organized by the Municipal Assembly to give account of the past year to residents and natives. Upper East Regional Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
Boko Municipal Chief Executive Bukari Isaku revealed the Boko Municipal Assembly as at November 2014 accrued a revenue of 516,536.23 Ghana cedi as internally generated funds. The amount exceeds that of last year by over 70,000 Ghana cedi. That means this year, the Boko Assembly did fairly better than last year in terms of the internally generated revenue. The Assembly also received an amount of approximately 776,000 Ghana cedi as its share of the District Assembly's common funds for the first quarter of this year. According to the Boko Municipal Chief Executive, the monies together with other funds and grants are being used to develop the municipality's infrastructure in the areas of education, health, sanitation and rural electrification, as well as capacity building. Touching on the long-standing ethnic dispute between Mamproses and Kusazes in the area, the MC said there has been relative peace in recent times.
I want to take this opportunity to invite my brothers, the Mamproses, brothers, who withdrew from the Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee to come back to the Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee. And I'm doing this passionately. Because when we sit together and join, it's better than war. And I'm sure when you come back and we sit to join, the peace we have now will be sustained and will continue to sustain.
He also touched on the ban on men from the riding of motorcycles in the area.
We are in the festive season. Xmas is coming. Summer break is coming. Let's ensure, my brothers and sisters, we go through these two processes peacefully. If we go peacefully, that would motivate me and other people who are going to assist me, push to ensure that they lift the motorbike. But if that doesn't happen, then it's very difficult for me to talk. advocate and to argue strongly before national security and before the presidency that there is a need for the motor curfew to be lifted.
In the area, Boku and its neighboring towns have at least 3 approved entry points into Ghana. For this season, Mr. Isaku said measures have been put into place to ensure that any Ebola entry is properly handled.
Right, and the Upper West Regional Minister Amin Amidu Suleimani has appealed to beneficiary communities of the small town water piped system to pay for the maintenance of the facilities. He said that government invests a lot in these facilities across the country, but due to the lack of the culture of maintenance, they are easily broken down. Amidu Suleimani made the appeal at the handing over of a man-made well mechanized pipe system in the Wa East District. Rafiq Salam reports.
Even though the Upper West region has the highest water coverage in the country, pegged at 77%, some communities still lack water. One of such communities is Maunwe, located in the Wa East District, where women and their children have to walk long distances to fetch water, sometimes competing with animals. Based on these challenges, the government has acquired a loan of $75 million from the World Bank to help solve the problem. The project is providing, among others, 300 boreholes to be fitted with hand pumps for 290 communities, 10 piped water systems for 10 small towns, and hygiene and sanitation promotion for 290 small communities. The project will also construct 30 institutional KVIP latrines, training of 30 latrine artisans, and training of 90 school health teachers in beneficiary schools.
Happy to report that work is 100% complete on the Maunwe water system that we are commissioned to pay. While 98% work is completed on the Good water system, which is expected to hand it over in the first quarter of 2015. Indeed, the feedback by the stakeholders on the project in the district further concerns our resolve to make the Wa East District the pace setters in the region.
Upper West Regional Minister Engineer Amin Amidu Suleimani appealed to beneficiary communities to pay for the maintenance of the water facilities since they will be hooked to electricity. Similar projects commissioned in the region are on the verge of breaking down since community members fail to pay for their maintenance.
A team should ensure that they go down from time to time to see that people don't misuse the facility. Because when it breaks down, we're going to repair it at a very high cost. We're going to hand over the project to you, and you will be expected to maintain it. So if you break it down, you will have to contribute yourselves to maintain. And I don't think that is what the intention government has. We are not bringing a project to burden you. We want you to benefit from it. And you've been told that you will pay little money towards its maintenance. Water, as we all said, is life, but it's also very expensive. We can't have water, particularly good water, free.
Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
Now, here in the studio, my name is Stephen Antia. You're watching the Primetime News on Joy on Multi TV. We're also on ABN in London and across Europe. We'll be right back with more news. Sports now, former Black Star striker Mohamed Polo says suspended stars Sule Montari and Kevin Prince Boateng must apologize before their recall to the team. Montari and Boateng have been suspended indefinitely from the team for engaging in various acts of indiscipline at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. According to Mohamed Polo, Avram Grant must look beyond these players if they refuse to apologize.
A player like me and you who have played before and then will come and insult a fellow Ghanaian coach that he doesn't know what he's doing, and we still feel they should bring those who did that. They should not apologize. They should come and come. My friend, if we do that, what sort of signal are you sending to the younger ones? They can do it, and if they are very good, I mean, the sort of football that we played, we never insulted anybody. What I'm saying is that they have to apologize. They have to regret what they did. They are still playing, and they are playing very well. If they want to play, they should apologize and come and play. And we all pray for them. But what they did was not the best, especially a Ghanaian brother like you. because he's a Ghanaian, you don't respect him. I feel very sad. I feel sad.
And head coach of the National Under-23 football team, Malik Jabir, says his team is in the final phase of fine-tuning ahead of the crucial qualifiers for the upcoming Olympic Games and All Africa Games. The Black Meteors have pitched camp at the Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram Pram for the past 2 weeks. And Malik Jabir has told Joy Sports his team is gradually hitting top form.
Normally we should break around the 24th, but because of traveling difficulties during Christmas, we'll ask to let it come down a little, maybe a day or so that they can get a chance to travel. Aside that, we are coming for the third phase. When we come for the third phase, in other words, we will have to raise things and then play outside matches. This is our neighbors, maybe Togo, Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire, people around us. When we from there, then we'll see our way forward. We come to play you. If we hear of any good player, we'll come to you, come and play us. Then we look at the player. If it's in line with what we are hearing, then we pick him. So you can see we played so many trial matches. It helped us a lot, and I think that was a good move. We have maximum 30 players. We don't go beyond 30. We had 30 in our first campaign. Sent out 7 who were not maybe pulling their weight, brought in 7, and we are just concluding the second phase. Now we'll be coming for the third phase, and that will be the final one.
Now some more stories. Parliament has approved an amount of 24.4 million Ghana cedis for the operations of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, for 2015. The budget was approved amidst calls for the Commission to attain financial independence to enable it discharge its duties effectively.
Inadequate funding for the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice has been blamed for its inability to function efficiently. The Commission depends heavily on donors, such as the Danish Development Fund. As a result, the Special Budget Committee of Parliament is recommending SHRAJ exert its financial independence as stipulated in the Constitution by forwarding its budget directly to the Presidency for approval and not through the Finance Ministry.
Budgetary requirements proposed by the Commission continue to be subjected to executive control and downward revision by the Ministry of Finance before submission to Parliament. In certain cases, a ceiling is set by the Ministry for Finance for the Commission to use in the planning of its programs and activities, and this always leads to the Commission's inability to realize planned programs and activities. In order for the Commission to continue to improve on the practice of good governance, enhance integrity in public affairs, improve public service delivery, and entrench the culture of respect for human rights and human dignity, SHRAJ must be well restored.
Parliament subsequently approved 24,429,260 Ghana cedis for SHRAJ to execute its mandate in 2015. The minority leader, however, questioned why the Special Budget Committee failed to establish why the budget submitted by SHRAJ was reduced by nearly 25% after it was given a ceiling of 31 million cedis.
The committee offers no explanation to us in plenary the reason why the Ministry of Finance behaved the way they did behave. Because I thought that if the Commission submitted their own proposals and the Ministry gave them a ceiling to use, then the Ministry had no business further pruning down the figure by as much as about 25% to 24 million.
The committee, however, said they could not get any information from the Finance Ministry regarding the margin by which the amount was slashed.
Now time to get you updated in business, and as always, I'm Abigail Adomakwenchi. Well, Christmas is in the air, and the number of shops in the capital have stocked up their outlets for the Yuletide. While some shops are offering discounts on their items, others have special Christmas packages for customers.
The Christmas season presents a time for many to shop for family and friends. As a result, many shops ensure they have all the customer needs for the period. Noted as a season for children to change their wardrobe, one shop which caters for the needs of children, Mother of the Year Moti, is ready to serve.
We have hundreds and hundreds of pairs of shoes, and we have suits. We have clothing in hundreds. We are well stocked, ready for Christmas. Christmas is for kids, but then, because of the economic situation, they are not buying. The sort of inflows we're expecting, we are not getting them now. At this time of the year, people should be trooping in to buy for their kids, but they are not coming.
Others, like the Zigzag accessories, have gone for new goods and are selling at a 10% discount for the Yuletide.
Brought in a lot of stuff, watches, necklace, bracelets, and actually we are having a discount sale. Next month's promo, 10% off all items being bought. And so far so good, it's not bad, but comparing to last year was much better than this year, but we are still hoping.
And here at the Accra Mall, one of Accra's busiest shopping malls, the smell of Christmas is pungent. The usual Christmas tree, lights and glitters are all over, a sure sign of the mall's readiness for the festive season, and shoppers have made it even busier.
I'm shopping for Christmas. Oh, the season is fine, though full of challenges, but everything is going well. So far as a year has gone and it's ending, you still need to celebrate.
But not all are shopping for the Yuletide.
I'm just picking up a few items to use, for the house, that's it. Well, I'm hoping for the best. It's gonna be like on the low key for me, but I'm hoping for the best, most simply.
The economic challenges may persist, but that will not deter many from celebrating the season, which is fast approaching. Abigail Adomakwenchi for Joy News.
Now, away from Christmas to brands, 6 of Ghana's top performing brands have been recognized as the most valuable brands in Ghana at the 2014 Ghana Top Brands Awards. The Ghana Top Brand Awards ceremony was to recognize emerging, fastest growing, most promising and top brands in Ghana and help position them as global brands.
Vodafone Ghana, Daily Graphic, Toyota Ghana, Melcom and Total Petroleum Ghana were declared the 6 most valuable brands in Ghana for 2014 at the 10th edition of the Top Brand Awards. While Weaving Industries Ghana Limited, Kimo Home and Ostec IT firm were adjudged the nation's top brands of 2014. Sasso Products, Anointed Electrical Engineering Services Limited, Technomobile, Royal Bank, Surfline, AFB Financial Ghana, Joy Daddy from Joy Industries Limited and Global Access receive awards as top emerging brands. Technomobile was adjudged the most promising brand for 2014, while Sasso was again awarded for the fastest growing brand of 2014. General Manager of the Graphic Communications Group, Kenneth Ashigbe, who received Best Brand Custodian of the Year award, said building and developing strong indigenous brand is vital in national development. He also called for investment into research for brand development.
I believe that for even our country to grow, our appreciation of brand and our appreciation of branding needs to increase, and we should see it in all spheres of life. We all need to contribute in branding our country, Ghana. What is it that we represent? What is our unique selling proposition? In all the noise that we have currently around globally, if we don't stand out, if we don't build ourselves as a brand in terms of being able to succeed, it will be difficult.
Now let's talk about power. And the ongoing power rationing exercise is not only inconveniencing consumers, but also increasing the cost of doing business. One company that is feeling the brunt of this action is the SPC engineering company at Wager, which has been able to work at full capacity for the past 3 days because it does not have electricity. Latif Idris visited the company and has come through with his report.
Consumers continue to feel the brunt of the erratic power supply across the country due to the ongoing load shedding program by the Electricity Company of Ghana. The situation seemed to be getting worse by the day, as Wager, a community here in Accra, has been without electricity for the past 3 days. This has forced SPC Engineering Company, an accredited agent of the Driver Vehicle and Licensing Authority, to spend an extra 700 cedis daily to power their operations. Public Relations Officer of the company, Joseph Feku Kujo, tells Joy News the outages have drastically reduced the pace of their business, whilst at the same time increased their cost of doing business.
For now, looking at the economy, at first we were spending about 500, but this time around we spent 700 to buy the diesel for the whole plant a day. All the things that we do here, we use heavy equipment, so it takes more power. It consumes a lot of power, so we spend roughly 700 a day.
Car owners are also feeling the brunt of the power cuts, as they have to wait for hours to get the service they need.
The power outage is causing a lot of problems. As soon as the power goes off, then their machines, lots of problems. So we have to wait and wait and wait. And I came along, I was around 8:30 to 9 in the morning. And after this, I think it's getting to 12 o'clock. Still, I'm in the queue. Yeah. I have to spend all of the time here. I have to go and work too. Exactly. Yeah. So it is getting a lot of problems. Yeah. It's getting a lot of problems. It's the way forward? I don't know now. We asked them about the standby generator. I mean, buying the fuel too is a problem to them. Yeah. Are they going to buy the fuel so that they will be less or what? So it's very, very terrible.
That is the song of the day. Everybody sings the same song. Even not here, everywhere the lighting system is very hard for us. Yeah, because sometimes you're going home not sure whether you're going to meet your light or not. Yeah, so.
You think the ECG is not going by the timetable the issue without?
Apart from the timetable, ECG is not doing anything to fulfill their promises, because they come with all kinds of tariffs, and yet the value for money does not come in, and that is the problem.
It is pretty obvious these customers and others like them would have to spend more time in queues to receive services they could get within minutes until the power situation is resolved. Latif Idris, Joy News, Wager, Accra.
Well, companies are still feeling the brunt of this power rationing. Well, the country's major cement producer, Gasem, is also warning there could be a shortage of the product as well as an increase in price anytime soon if the load shedding does not end. The VRE has announced the load shedding for industries would worsen next year because of an expected increase in generation shortfall. Manufacturing companies say the load shedding is affecting their operations. Gasem is the latest to complain and says the situation could affect the supply and price of cement. So here is what civil society organizations are saying about the current energy crisis. They're saying that is a lack of investments and a prudent management of the energy sector. Well, for them, the crisis has worsened with the inclusion of industrial zones, a move they say will cause the private sector to bleed and render many jobless.
Ghana continues to battle with generating sufficient power to meet the demand for power, which grows between 10 and 12% yearly. 350 to 400 megawatts of power is needed in addition to installed capacity to help meet the demand. Civil society organizations under the auspices of Imani Ghana met to discuss the energy situation and to propose some solutions. For ASAP, the energy situation has grown worse due to the lack of strategic planning. Dr. Amin Adam maintains a way out is for government to increase generation capacity through private sector investments. The Private Enterprise Federation PEF indicated the private sector is bound to bleed with a new move to extend load shedding to industrial zones.
The private sector, which feeds you, that pays your salaries, that pays your taxes, that pays your pensions, is hurting badly, and unless something drastic happens, they're going to fail. We don't want all of us to be standing on the street and selling, because we will all be selling and there'll be no buyers. So the solution is for us to talk. And we say speak up. Speak up to who? To our governments. Let them know that this is unacceptable under any condition.
Other CSOs made it clear in their submissions the energy crisis was self-inflicted due to the over-reliance on the Akosombo hydroelectric dam and called for prudent planning to ensure other sources, particularly solar energy, are considered for power generation.
We are hoping for the best in this energy sector. Well, that'll be it for business. I'm Abigail Adomako. Do stay on for more news.